Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Flipside. Good to have you all here. It's been a rough week for both Crafty and I, but we're going to try and make some fun for us all. And yeah, no guests, just me and my lovely co host, Crafty. How are you, dear?
Hello, peoples. I'm okay. I'm half asleep. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm half asleep. You heard me before we went live. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Chris was like, "You're half awake. It's 7:30 in the freaking morning here." Like, yeah. But all right. So I'm gonna explain this really quickly. So I had my jab about 2.5 weeks ago now. So it's nothing to do with the jab. It cannot be blamed on the jab. But I have been working. I'm up to 10-hour shifts, 5 days a week. So yeah, and not only that, it's been like 1 minute it's raining, like torrential rain. The next minute it's like 32 degrees, and it's just been messing with my system. So yeah, when I got home on Friday, I fell asleep. I was in and out of sleep at like 5 o'clock when I got home. Having been up at 4 to be in for 5, and I got home at about 5:15 because it's only down the road. And so I was in and out of sleep for like most of the day. And then when was it? 11 o'clock on Friday? In and around 11 o'clock, I fell asleep and didn't wake up until 4 p.m. on Saturday. Like that's not normal. That's not you,
No.
especially for me. That's not normal. That's like really fucking bad. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That
So
work week is catching up with you quick.
I went in. I had a couple of discussions yesterday with peoples. Made some people rage quit from a certain server, and then fell back asleep. And then woke back up, talked to Tusk for about 10 minutes, and fell back asleep again. Like it was really fucking like my system is screwed. My system is screwed.
Yeah. No
So
kidding.
yeah.
It takes a while to get used to those longer shifts, but once you've been doing it for a couple of weeks, it should be like just your body will adjust.
Yeah, and I don't think it's just necessarily the shifts. I mean, the shifts are meh, they're pretty intense because it's physical labor, it's physical work, but it's not like I haven't done that before. It's
Hmm.
just a matter of getting my body used to it again, and the fact that the weather keeps changing.
Yeah, that
It
doesn't
sucks.
help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna have to deal with me being half awake, people.
Yep, there you go. And nobody found the goat last week, so that means we got to take it out on all of you tonight. So get
Mm-hmm.
ready.
I do love it. Who is it? Carl Edwards said that I did find it. I just forgot to tell you.
Yeah,
No,
no,
no.
nice try.
Critical Cripple said something there just before we went live, and I just pissed myself laughing. There was something like he dances like a newborn horse. That's funny. I've seen newborn horses trying to wiggle around. It's funny. It's really really funny.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm kind of I don't know. What do you think of Tusk's idea? We'll make a Wheel of Fortune style spinning wheel.
No, just no,
No, no,
no.
no. You don't want a reenactment of Dances with Wolves on the show.
Really, I don't really. I have childhood trauma from like those spinning wheels. No,
Oh, okay,
no,
all right.
no spinning wheels on this show. If you don't find the goat, you have to put up with the two of us speaking. In fairness now, right? In fairness, what changes it? Because I talk all the time anyway. You have to put up with me talking all the time, most of the time anyway. So just one less person
True
talking.
enough. True enough. True enough. What's a stoat, Carl?
The stoat. Oh, he found the stoat. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
There's no
no.
stoat. There's no stoat. Have you ever held a stoat? A stoat is cool. He found Sable Eagle found the stout. Sable, you had better have found enough fucking stout for everybody in the audience. Because
Absolutely.
after the week I've had, I could definitely do with a fucking pint.
Absolutely. It's not so bad though. Taddy's not here, so that'll save you a few gallons.
Yet. Now you've said his name, he's going to turn up in the chat. Critical Cribble says, reason is too polite to interrupt you. We're not so nice. Yeah. People need to interrupt me more. Although half the time I don't listen. Half of the time I don't listen, and I just continue talking anyway. So fuck you.
I just want to address one comment. Nice to be with the normies for a bit. Can you point out the normies? Because I'd sure like to meet them.
Who the fuck is Normie? Eddie, drinks tonight? Yeah, but I hear you had drinks last night too. Not going to say how I heard that.
Were you getting out of hand? Was she getting out of hand?
She had a much-needed break from the tusk. I do not blame her.
That's understandable. I can understand that. So, anyways, before we went live, Crafty and I got into a little bit of a discussion about something very, very interesting. It seems that the Arctic walrus has returned to Ireland. So, would you like to fill us in on that, Crafty?
Right. So, people know that I'm like most of what I watch on YouTube, other than debunking, would be animal stuff. And a couple of months ago, in March, just like 2 days before my birthday, I actually went down to Kerry. And the reason I went down to Kerry was because there was an Arctic walrus. And I really, really, really wanted to fucking see it. And I did. I didn't get too close. Obviously, we didn't, like, you kind of step back and social distancing and everything. But we weren't allowed to get too close to it anyway because it's a fucking walrus. But yeah, it showed up on the coast of Kerry, which makes it, like, I think the 12th Arctic walrus that's made it down to this far south. But then a couple of days ago, RTE is the national broadcaster of Ireland, Radio Telefís Éireann. They had but they had a news bulletin saying that the Arctic walrus had returned, and this time it was in Waterford, and there was a video of it climbing into a boat. Let me see if I can find it here. Yes, right. So I'm gonna show this because fuck it, why not?
That must have been one hell of a big dinghy, because walruses ain't small beasts.
No, they are fucking not. Let me just get the Chrome tab. Cool. This one, and share. I won't share audio because you don't need to hear the audio. Yeah, but this is it. Can you guys see that? All right, so this is what turned up. This is what turned up for us in Waterford.
Ooh.
And it's the same Arctic walrus that was seen in Kerry a couple of months ago because it has distinctive spots on its left flipper. So they were able to tell that it was the same one. And it apparently made its way all the way down to France, like halfway down France, La Rochelle in France.
Wow.
And back up to us and into the boat.
Yeah. That's pretty remarkable, because walruses, they do not like warm water. They are Arctic water animals. So,
but you guys see it. It's there. It came back up to Waterford. Yeah, so that was remarkable. That was an interesting thing this week. And no, we're not going to cook the fucking walrus tusk. No.
Yeah, no.
We're not cooking the walrus. But yeah.
Wow.
Oh, they couldn't see it apparently because you had we had the thing up. Hang on.
Okay.
Hold on for 1 second. Because yeah, see, this is what happens when I'm half asleep because I didn't take the background down. Yes, we can tech. It's just we can't tech well. Do you want to take the background down when I put this up?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll share it again.
Absolutely. And here it comes.
Yeah,
All
can
right,
they
you
see
should
that now?
be able to see that now.
People, can you see this? Tell me in the comments. Not that I can see. You'll see. But anyway, here's the walrus.
Yeah.
Here be the walrus. Yes, they can see it. Okay.
Climbing up in there. That's a fairly young one by the look of it.
Yeah, I think they aged him out at about 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Like it's not an old. So yeah, he how did we get pictures of Critical Cripple? Look at him getting into the boat. Like he has no issue getting into the bloody boat.
Oh no, they're a lot more mobile than people think.
So yeah, folks, that happened. Yeah, poor thing. I mean, I wanted to bring it up because it's and yeah, there's a video of him being down in Kerry. But I wanted to bring it up because I found it remarkable that an Arctic walrus, I mean, it came from Baffin Bay, which is like almost like proper north of Greenland, came all the way down the coast of Greenland. And instead of going over to the Hudson or going over to Canada or whatever, it came to Ireland. It came all the way around, bypassed Iceland, and came straight to Ireland. It came off Kerry, so it was already south. And the Labrador Sea is usually, it's where it's cold, but it's not like Arctic cold as such. And the fact that it came all the way down, because Kerry, what's interesting about Kerry is just off the coast of Cork is the Gulf, the Gulf Stream. So it's actually a tropical stream that ends towards Cork. So the fact that it came all the way down to the tropics nearly is quite remarkable. Now, as I said, it's not the first one to arrive on the shores of Ireland, but it got me thinking. I'm here. We can start having fun now. Thank you, Christian. You just missed the walrus. Go back. And no, I am not the walrus. I am not the walrus.
Neither am I.
But why does it have a cute butt? Eddie, I am not going to comment on whether or not it has a cute butt.
Shit.
That's something that you have to deal with on your own. But yeah, it got me thinking of the desperation that it must have felt that it actually made its way all the way down. It kind of got me thinking about Happy Feet, where like in Happy Feet, if you've never seen Happy Feet, go watch Happy Feet. It's awesome. But a penguin heads south to find out what's happening to the fish because of the fisheries industry stealing all the fish. And it made me sad. Like happy to see a walrus because it's a walrus, but it made me sad.
Well, for the past few years now, the news has commented on the real problem they're having with Chinese aggression or Chinese fisheries invading coastal fisheries or fishing areas of other countries. Like just completely disregarding international law, just going wherever they damn well please, fishing the fuck out of it, and just going on their merry way. I mean, they're out of control, really, in my opinion. So far as to say that the Argentinians actually sank a Chinese vessel for invading their territorial waters. That was in the news about a month or so ago, a couple of months ago. So, but yeah, I think that kind of activity in fisheries in general is having a huge impact on these animals. And that's probably one of the driving forces why they're coming down so far.
Fred Bailey is asking how can a penguin head south when they don't know there? Do they not know there is a wall? There's no wall in the ocean, mate. No wall in the ocean. But yeah, I mean Japan as well. Japan has, I think it's Japan has increased their whale hunting, or reintroduced whale hunting as a delicacy, and again,
Yeah.
it's not a good thing when you're talking about the ecosystem, because if we lose the whales, that's a big fucking problem.
That's going to be a huge environmental impact for the marine ecosystem.
Yeah, actually, Sable Eagle makes a very, very good point. Everybody wants their clan to have the biggest share of the ashes after the world burns. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
We're making the world burn. That's the biggest problem, and we could stop it. Like in Italy, in Venice, when all of the when COVID first hit, there was a dolphin that came back to Venice. You seen dolphins swimming in the river, because what was happening was all of these large liners were basically dredging up, and even with the gondoliers, they were dredging up all of the dirt and the pollution on the bottom of the river, or the waterways, and bringing it all up constantly, so it was like floating at the top. And now that they've seen what they can have, and the marine life coming back, the people of Venice refused to allow a big ship into their harbor.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted it gone.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the drawback to that is a huge drop in tourism.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes and no. Yes and no. Well, the drop in tourism is because people were on their lockdown, like they couldn't actually go. But in terms of the cruises, there are harbors near to Venice that are more ecologically sound that they could go to, and then just take a bus ride down to Venice. Like they don't actually have to go into Venice Harbor to go to Venice. That's the point. Like,
well,
John Raptor said, "Good day, everyone. Have they not seen the Star Trek documentary?"
Obviously not. Obviously not.
Yeah, I mean, look, I lived in Italy for nearly a year at one stage, and I was North Italy, which they call Germany, but it's still Italy. Venice is home. They don't want tourists there putting their rent up and renting everywhere on Airbnb. Everything became a commodity in Venice, like everything. And what's more is people were told to go to Venice, because I remember being there and people were like, you better go to Venice before it disappears because of climate change.
Yeah. But you have to think of it from the other side too. I mean, yes, the lockdown really shut everything down. But without those liners coming in, the recovery from the lockdown afterwards is going to depend a great deal on the income from tourism, which is going to abruptly drop because they're not letting these big liners into their harbor anymore.
But I don't think that's necessarily a problem. And the reason being is because a lot of Venetians have been forced out of Venice because of rents being too high and prices, because it became the tourist town. And it's not the only one. I've seen it in many different places. So maybe they will have a little bit of a crash where the prices of housing comes down because nobody is using it as a holiday home anymore, or an Airbnb or a hotel. And maybe Venetians will be able to go back and live in Venice, be able to afford to live in Venice, and go back to the fisheries and the life fisheries that they used to have. The tourist industry destroyed most of Venice's income because they were then dependent on tourists. So it could destroy Venice, but it could also fucking save it. But like, that's economics. That's economics.
Yeah.
Only time will tell. But
Rob
But it is
Parks
a beautiful.
is, yeah,
It is beautiful.
he saw
Just
a
saying.
report. He saw a report that the AMOC is collapsing due to climate change, which is seriously going to screw up Europe and Africa. Now, I'm not too familiar with the AMOC. Can someone kind of educate me?
The AMOC is the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation. It's the safety. It's salty water from the tropics.
Yes.
Northward, yeah, it kind of regulates. It's the regulation of currents. And so when AMOC collapses, it's the kind of destruction of currents. And yes, that's been it's thermocirculation really, but that's been on the talking point for at least 20 years, because when I was doing debates on this, and we have a center for oceanic research in Ireland, that I was talking to very regularly at one point when I was in university. It was actually, the center was in my university, and it is a balancing act. If AMOC collapses, then there's no way of regulating currents, and it's a natural process of regulation. Humans don't really have much to do with it. It's scary. It is very, very scary.
Cool. Well, thank you for the education. I learned something new today.
It's quite scary. But again, that's been talked about for the last 15 years at least, as a serious problem. And the fact that this walrus came down into subtropical waters is proof of what has been said. Now, if it's a one-off and there's not another one for another 5, 10, 15 years, then questionable. But I don't think I think it's going to be a regular occurrence.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a regular occurrence.
Yeah, because if that what do they call it? The deep ocean conveyor.
Yeah.
If that shuts down, we're all screwed. That's it.
Yeah. Sable Eagle is just explaining there. Hot water from the Gulf of Mexico flows northeast. Losing water by evaporation meets cold water, cools down and sinks. Flows to the bottom of the ocean, resurfaces for the south. And then if Greenland melts too fast, the fresh water running off will dilute the salt water. And yeah, it won't get dense enough to sink. It's scary. It's very scary. And what's more is, again, for that purposes, we don't have much control over it. But the effect of it happening is because of human intervention in general. So I may have because I was talking to Manda after the show the other night. Well, last week, I think. Was it last week? I was Monday. I was talking to Pebble Mama, aka Manda, aka what was her last name? Mama Atheist. People will know her as. And she was saying that, well, we were talking about this very thing. And so I might actually get her on, because she has degrees in climate science and stuff like that. So that might be an eye on society. That might be an eye on society sometime soon.
Yeah, this is interesting. Sable Eagle says 30 years ago, they said if it took 50 years to happen, the worst winter of 19th and 20th centuries would become routine. And if it took 25, Dover would be closed in winter due to sea ice.
Yep.
That's a scary thought. That is a very scary thought.
9 is given even worse ones. The Atlantic Treaty expires in 30 years. When the Atlantic Treaty expires, if it's not reenacted, then what's going to happen, what I can see happening, and that this is just me speaking, is that everything is going to go into nuclear power. And they're going to try and get, and I'm working on a debate at the moment, getting someone on to debate. His name is Mike Gonzalez. And he wrote a book called The Last Drop. People, you should read that book. It's fucking amazing. But he was talking about the abuse of the aquifers. And now, if you don't know what aquifers are, they're underground freshwater lakes. But we've been abusing the aquifers for the sake of fucking bottled water. And the problem is these aquifers are not refilling faster than we're taking from them. And so the only place left to get that is either the Arctic or the Antarctic. So if the Antarctic Treaty runs out and it's not renewed, guess where we're going to get our bottled water from?
Yeah.
That's the fear. That's the fear.
Yeah, you're right. But I have a feeling that the UN will have it reenacted before that happens.
Fuck my life. Carl Edwards says South Africa has collapsed aquifers. We are in deep trouble. That is very scary. That is fucking very scary. Nimrod, hello. We were talking. Okay, so just a brief update. We were talking about a walrus, an Arctic walrus, coming down to Ireland, and then we just got into talking about climate change and how we're all fucked.
Yeah.
Happy Sunday, folks.
And you know what worries me the most is that these anti-climate people, these climate deniers, they have some really, really opinionated young people actually believing that crap and pushing it. Like I think one of the leading anti-climate people is a girl. I think she's about 14 or 15 years old. I can't remember her name. Oh God! But it's scary that the young people are buying into this anti-climate change crap.
Well, actually, here's the thing, right? I don't believe that most young people are buying into it. I really don't. And the problem is, speak of Pale Blue Mama, and she appears. Woo! Hello,
Hey.
Hello, Amanda. It's good to see you. But yeah, so the problem is that the climate deniers have a lot of wealth behind them, and it's very easy. And it's this. Yeah, she's the anti-Greta. So trying to explain this, when we were fighting for the right to choose here in Ireland, when we were fighting against the 8th Amendment, it had seemed like the anti-choice movement was much more powerful, much more vocal, much more organized than we were. But you have to remember, they are in the minority. They are really in the minority. The only difference is they can buy airtime. They can buy more posters. They can, if they have, for every one anti-Greta, we have 7 or 8 children that's willing to come forward and be vocal and be very articulate in in explaining climate change. They have probably 4 young people, 5 young people that they will regurgitate all the time. We have about 50 or 60 that can actually make the points that are under the age of 18. So when they have the money, and it makes it look like they're louder, that they're more organized, but that's not always the case. That's not always the case. And we found that out. We found that out with the 8th Amendment. There was like 4 people that would do the interviews, and they would only allow like 4 or 5 people do the interviews. We had
a lot of people take into account is, even though they've got the money to be louder and buy the airtime, they also have the money to lobby governments, and that's the scary part.
They do. But at the end of the day, there is, from my experience anyway, there is this illusion of democracy. And as long as the illusion of democracy exists, they have to do what people want. And if people push them hard enough, they have to enact these policies. So it doesn't matter how much money is being thrown at them. If they have a town or a city being shut down for an afternoon, that's business is suffering. Now, what are you going to worry about more? A company that's not even in your country throwing a little bit of money at you, or 70 businesses in a big city saying, we can't take these protests, get the fuck. That's going to have more of an impact. And that's just
Yeah.
from personal experience. So they might they might think they're more powerful, they might appear more powerful, but they're not really more powerful than ordinary people. And I've seen things change for the better because ordinary people stood up and refused to shut up. Like that's the big thing. They think, a lot of people seem to think that if you go on, part of the problem with this generation is they think if you sign a petition, that's enough. It's not enough. It's really not enough. But the other problem is that the fight has kind of been taken out of people a little bit with for when the global economy was going well. There's a whole generation that didn't understand what strikes were about, didn't understand what sit-ins were about, didn't understand that they have power, because they weren't forced to use it, and so they believed that when the shit hit the fan, that they were powerless. And now they're starting to think all of that fear that they've had is starting to move towards anger, in a productive sense of the word, not like, oh, we'll just trash everything, but in a productive sense of the word. The likes of the Indignados movement in Spain, the likes of the revolutions in whether they succeeded or failed doesn't matter. The revolutions in the Middle East, Egypt, Tunisia, there's a range of places where, whether or not it succeeded, it was the first time in a generation that people actually stood up to their governments. And so there's ebbs and flows to that. And it's the same thing with the environmental movement. And to some extent, part of the issue is that we live in a society now, and this is my own my own belief. We live in a society now where things have gotten to a decent-ish position, where progressiveness has become dominant to an extent. And so, in a way, to rebel against progressiveness, the Republicans in the US and the conservatives throughout the world are trying to present to young people that it's cool not to be progressive, that it's cool to be racist, that it's cool to be against LGBT. And so there's a counter narrative being presented here that hasn't been presented before, because that was previously the dominant narrative. So just something to be aware of.
Kind of scary, though.
It is. So what you're saying is correct. There is this counter narrative, but it seems more powerful than it actually is. And that's because they have money behind them. But money does not always guarantee success. And we saw that with the Eighth Amendment campaign. We saw that with the marriage equality referendum. Yeah. So to an extent, Nimrod, yeah, they're presenting the idea that it's cool to be in the KKK. And they're presenting that as we are the undercurrent. We are the people who have been abused and attacked and all the rest of it. Forget historical context. There is a lot of bullshit going around that the most attacked people in the world are young white men.
Yeah. And it's that kind of mindset that gives Karens and soft-sits and auditors that the idea that what they're doing is okay.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
That they're the underdogs now, and they're the ones that are oppressed. So there is this counter narrative that's coming out of the woodwork. But again, just because it's heavily funded doesn't mean that it's going to be successful, and it doesn't mean that it's in the majority. I took part with my niece and nephew going on the climate change protests, where they would ditch school, they would leave school on a Friday and go into the city centre of Dublin and have a protest. One is 9, the other is 11. Like, are you going to tell me that they believe that climate change is a myth? No, they don't. They absolutely don't. Do you know? And all their school friends were there. My niece is able to explain climate change nearly as good as well as I can. And she's 9. She's 9. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, they have young people arguing against climate change, but I don't think it's the majority of young people. I think the majority of young people don't really give a shit. But then you have more of a majority believing that it is a thing, that it is something to worry about.
Absolutely. I would agree.
Tangent. Woo, tangent.
All right. So there you go, folks. Climate change is a thing. Let's start dealing with it.
Exactly. The other thing that I kind of wanted to mention, and I'm skeptical of whether I should mention it or not, is the discussion that's been held in our community regarding Kent Hovind.
Yes.
I have an issue with how we're phrasing the whole Kent Hovind thing. And it's not to attack anyone. It's not to say that you're wrong for laughing at the fact that he's and making light of the situation of him being on bail or probably getting arrested again. The one thing that I do want to, and I hate making this serious, but it is a fucking serious thing. The guy was arrested for, and let's talk about the seriousness a little bit. The guy was arrested for domestic abuse. I don't see that as a victory. I see that as a danger. I'm absolutely devastated that this has happened. Now, I don't like Kent Hovind at all. But here's what happened, right? Back in 2020, the end of 2020, he apparently, allegedly, and I have to say allegedly because he has not been found guilty yet, but he allegedly body slammed his quote unquote wife. Now, she's not really his wife because he's already still married to his first wife, but he is ceremoniously married to this woman. And what kind of gets to me is people are kind of saying, haha, he's going to be arrested again, without really understanding the weight of the situation. After second wife, first wife is divorced. Okay, well, if she is a second wife, after her escaping this domestic abuse, he sent a man to her rented accommodation to wave a gun in her face and tell her basically to shut up.
That's sick.
Like, he did. What didn't you hear? So yeah, I wanted to talk about and really bring it home that we shouldn't be cheering and laughing about the fact that this man was arrested, or even worse, put out on bail. He should never have gotten bail. He body slammed a woman, putting her in the hospital, and then sent his henchman to wave a gun in her fucking face. I'm struggling to see where we should be celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, yes, allegedly, I have to keep repeating allegedly. But I believe the woman. I believe that he is very, very abusive. And he can be very abusive. We've seen that on pretty much everyone. And his smarmy little fucking smile doesn't hide the fact that he's abusive.
Yeah.
And I did just want to... He doesn't deserve any airtime. But at the same point, we still have to fucking talk about it. Because there are those in our community celebrating the fact that he's under the microscope again. And... I don't think they really understand the effects of this. Especially for survivors of domestic abuse in our community. Because there are survivors of domestic abuse in our community, and we should be mindful of that.
Yeah.
And give it the proper weight that it deserves.
Try to think for a moment what happens when you taunt an abusive person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pale Blue Mama is raising her hand.
With the likelihood of him lashing out even stronger because he's been taunted is real. I mean, think about it for a minute.
And that's not to say that nobody should be talking about the subject. And that's not to say that nobody should be challenging Kent Hovind's bullshit ideals. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that when we're talking about him, this situation, that it needs to be given the proper weight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he sent. Yeah, that's my point. He sent. So what happened allegedly was, for legal reasons, I have to say allegedly, because he hasn't been found guilty yet. He will, I believe. But let's talk about that for a second, because he was arrested and he was allowed out on bail. Like, for me, if you have committed serious bodily harm against another person, bail should be denied. It should just be denied. Because what you're doing is you're allowing the situation to become even more dangerous.
Yeah, for the victim.
Generally, I agree. In this case, I don't. Having listened to her interview, she is begging to be heard. She is begging to see him dragged over the coals. My point isn't that we shouldn't be talking about it. We have to talk about it. My point is, when I've heard people talk about it, they're only focusing on the fact that he was arrested again and that he might be going back to jail. They're not talking about the seriousness of the crime that he's been accused of committing. And because that's being omitted, or that's being made light of, for a lot of people in this community who have a history of either sexual abuse or physical abuse from someone else in their lives, in their real lives, it can be quite alarming to see the triumph of people who don't understand how damaging this is and how damaging it can be. That was my point. That if we're going to talk about it, let's fucking talk about it properly. I don't see how this is a victory for us, the fact that he's out on bail. Or that he might just get jail time again. Like, this is a very fucking serious issue. And I just don't, I haven't watched enough because I've been so busy working, but I just haven't seen the seriousness to this subject that should be given.
Yeah. And with regard to Rob Park's comment about Matt Powell, I don't think that would happen. I don't think Matt Powell has the personality to take things that far. So,
well, we don't know. That's the problem. We don't know.
It's just, you know.
You don't know what goes on behind closed doors. To be honest with you, some of those people genuinely still do see women as commodities, as things to be owned. So to say Matt, I don't have any proof. There's never been any accusations laid at Matt Powell's door. But the fact of the matter is, what we know is that this very, very serious accusation has been made against this man. He was arrested and he was let go. Now, I want to explain something, and this is why it's so upsetting to me. Because people know I was raped. I've been very open and honest about that. But what I haven't really spoken about is the fact that my rapist, a few months before he raped me, raped another girl. And she came forward, and he was arrested. And because it was his first it was his first time being arrested, he was let go on bail, leaving him to do it to me and whoever else he did it to, because he knew he was going down.
Mm-hmm.
So letting people out when they're accused of serious, heinous crimes is a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see your point.
And I just wanted to touch upon that aspect of it, because nobody is really understanding how dangerous it is for him to be out right now.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I really don't care about Matt Powell, to be honest. I really don't care about Matt Powell at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's just something to be aware of. Nimrod says, innocent until proven guilty isn't nice for the abused, I know, but if we go about it the other way, in any other way, we don't have a democratic society. I agree to an extent, Nimrod. I agree to an extent. Innocent until proven guilty. The problem is that when someone is accused of grievous bodily harm in any way, shape, or form, when you let them out back onto the street, you are giving them permission. And so this is the problem with some of these individuals that commit such heinous crimes. You're basically saying you're going down for this, so this is your last chance to do whatever the fuck you want. That's the danger. Yeah. So innocent until proven guilty, yes. But you should not be allowed to live in society when you've been accused of such things. This is the problem with the justice system at the moment, that they're waiting months on end for a trial, for something to be, for their trial to come to date. That's the biggest problem. If someone is accused of something, it should be dealt with within that month. That's my personal, and yes, there's so many fucking crimes that you can't really, it's probably not practical, but at the end of the day, when it's a serious bodily harm, they should not be allowed out, or if they are allowed out, they should be monitored. They should have someone, a guard, in some way, shape, or form, watching their every move. Because yes, innocent until proven guilty, but are you gonna take the risk of allowing them to do something similar or worse to someone else while they're out on bail waiting to go to prison? And when you know they're going to prison, or when they know they're going to prison, that's when they get desperate. You know, that's my only issue. And I'm speaking as a victim, and I hate calling myself a victim. I'm speaking from experience of what it's like to know that the person who abused you had been caught and let out.
Yeah.
And was left unmonitored.
Yeah. I would like to post a question to our resident legal expert, Tusk, about what he thinks about the denial of bail for criminals who have been charged of such an offense. Should there be a limit as to who can be given bail and who should be denied bail? I'd love to hear Tusk's response to that. What do you think?
I mean, the reason why I bring it up is well, to be honest with you, if it's serious bodily harm, I don't believe they should have bail. I just don't.
And I would agree.
Because okay, here we go. If an accusation results in a person being imprisoned for months before trial, then it will be abused. As an example, look at the blasphemy laws in Pakistan being used against business rivals. Blasphemy, I mean, this is the problem. Like most of the time, if you are held in, if you are imprisoned before the trial, usually it's taken off your sentence. It's seen as sentence served. So you're actually going to get a lesser sentence because it's already been served. Now, the problem with that would be, as I would see it, is that they could sue for compensation. And that would open up a whole series of problems. But if you have caused serious bodily harm to someone, then to be honest, I don't agree with, and we can disagree, that's fine. But I don't think people should be given bail. And part of it is that it will hopefully, in my view, but again, it would have to go with an overhaul of the judicial system. It would mean that these kind of cases don't get stretched out for months and years on end.
Yeah. A critical cripple makes a good point here. You're talking about locking people up just based on the report of someone else. Yes, that's true. But if the evidence is there, the people, if there's something to warrant the arrest, I mean, I don't know. It's a really convoluted topic. What do you think?
Well, the problem is that the longer a case goes on, the less reliable the evidence is going to be. So if you're faced to fucking do this quickly and investigate it a little bit more quickly, she has witnesses, apparently. She has evidence that he physically attacked her. So, I mean, open and shut case, possibly. We'll see. But the problem is that because people are let out on bail, it means that it can take months and months and months before you see any sort of movement. That's part of the problem.
Good point, Tuss. Good point. It's a utilitarian legal system. If an accusation holds the weight of proof, then nobody is safe. And I would have to agree with that. I don't know. How do you feel?
Process must be. Personally speaking, if it's provable, then I really don't think bail should be given. You can say I'm wrong on it. It's just how I feel.
Yeah.
Because again, I am a victim of someone who was let out on bail. What you're doing is you're giving them time to create more victims. And if it's that serious, they shouldn't be given that opportunity.
Yeah, and
I think we don't have a swift. Yeah, we don't have a swift legal system. That's the problem.
Yeah, it needs to be swift. Or if it's a violent offense and the person is denied bail, their case should be moved forward for quicker to be addressed more quickly, rather than having them sit in a long queue waiting years sometimes before their case is heard. But again, that could be a difficult thing to accomplish.
But the other issue with it is the longer it goes on, the more likely the witness tampering is going to be. And so if you have a situation where you're waiting months for a trial, you're going as a survivor, you're going to be second guessing yourself at every second.
Yeah, the psychological impact on the victim will be compounded unnecessarily.
And again, I can say that from experience.
Yeah, that should be blatantly obvious, really. And with that, folks, it's that time, just about. So. And there you go, folks. Find the goat.
Woo! I just just really quickly, I do want to touch upon what Nimrod just said. There are women who have accused men that they don't like of rape. First of all, there's a test that you can do to see if someone was actually raped. And the other thing is, any person, man or woman, who makes an accusation that is not true should absolutely be fucked over in prison for the rest of their lives. They should not be allowed. They shouldn't even be granted the possibility of getting out, because what they've done is so atrocious. It's as atrocious as what they're accusing the person of. So just I want to make that very clear. I am not in favor of granting amnesty to people who lie about being raped or physically assaulted. So I just wanted to make that clear. And it actually makes it so much harder for true survivors to actually come forward. So like there was a case, and I'm going to move on from this now in a second, but there was a case in Ireland there in the last few years of what was it, fucking rugby players being accused of a woman of raping a woman at a party, and there was 3 of them accused, and when she took to the stand, she was constantly asked about what underwear she was wearing, what skirt she was wearing, all of this shit. So and they were found innocent, so they were acquitted. So like, it just makes it so much harder for those of us who are talking, being honest. So yeah, I'm gonna set this aside. I didn't want to ignore the fact that it's such a fucking serious crime and we shouldn't be glossing over the seriousness of what he's been accused of. But yeah. Is the goat hiding under Keela's dress? No, you couldn't fit a goat up there.
No.
I know I'm special and all, but fucking hell. Goat is in the painting in the right.
Yeah, I was just going to say, can you be a little bit more specific? There's 3 paintings to the right of Crafty, 2 to the right of me.
Haven't found the goat, but is that Tusk looking through the far left divider? No, he wouldn't get into a place like this.
No.
This is a classy place. No, I'm joking, Tusk. I'm joking.
I'm watching the chat diligently.
Okay. Because I kind of know in and around where the goat is, but I'm not like
no.
Anyway. Sable, that's the point, isn't it? Like that's again why I don't think people for grievous bodily harm issues should not be given bail, and that's just my opinion. People can disagree, that's okay. Nimrod says I'm too blind to see the goat. Dave says goat is on the second picture from the right, on the head of the thing. On the head of the thing? Oh, okay. No.
No, I'm not. No.
No. Sable Eagle says, is the goat wearing a helmet with ear guards and a fake beard and posing as an earring in the painting on the wall just left of the pillar?
No.
Very in-depth. I like how in-depth you're going there, Sable, but no. I wouldn't want into your crappy pub. Sure. This is not elegance is not Tusk's scene. Isn't that right, Tusk?
Okay. But when you're saying to the left or to the right, now, whose perspective are you talking about? Yours looking at the screen, or the perspective of our
I would say
avatars
ours.
looking
Like
at you?
no. I would say from the perspective of looking at the screen.
Uh-huh.
The goat is in the far right picture, even with a line from the top of Crafty's head. Is it though? Is it though?
No.
Is the goat Crafty's ponytail curl? No.
Well, I have to say, part of what she said here is correct, but the position is wrong.
What's a goat look like again? Give me 1 second. I'll show you what the goat looks like.
Looks like a really ugly dog with horns.
It likes that. It's like that. So, going back to
Watch,
this.
Jessica's gonna say, "I found the goat."
The goat has to be in the picture. It can't be like we've showed you what the goat looks like because people needed to be reminded of what the goat looks like. So there you go, John.
No, those people on the far left are not eating the goat.
And John Rob says, "Found it. It's right here."
Sorry, that don't count.
Yeah, but the size of a flea.
Bring your own.
The size of a flea. That goat, but the size of a flea in this picture. So have fun, guys.
I can't very well hide the full-sized goat.
We can't tell you. That's for you to learn, Sable. Come on now. Hiding in Crafty's hair, no. Although my hair is big enough in this picture for it to be hiding. Weirdly enough, right? So actually, something positive that I kind of wanted to talk about. That I wasn't going to. So I went over to my my mum's house there last week, and my niece came over to me and she said, "Oh, your hair is getting so long." So I cut my hair a little while ago, which I don't usually do. Like I trim it, but I did actually get it cut a while ago. But it's starting to it's beneath my shoulders now again. And so what I tend to do is I grow my hair, and then I do a shaver dye for cancer research.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure whether it's going to be the end of the year or maybe next year. But yeah, usually what I would do is I would shave my hair and donate my hair to the Rapunzel Foundation, which is a cancer and alopecia charity. They make charity wigs for cancer and alopecia patients. So, but she has long hair as well, and she was like, "Tell me when you're going to cut your hair," because she knows I do it because I do it every few years. She's like, "Tell me when you're," because I'm going to donate my hair too. But she's going to get like a little bob in her hair. But yeah, Locks of Love. Yeah, Locks of Love is another one. The Little Princess Trust is one in the UK. There's places like that all over the world that donate wigs. So yeah.
Nope. Sorry, Carl.
Dorian asks, the light shade touching Keela's head. Is the goat top of the electrical cord? That makes perfect sense. It's a good guess, but no.
Yeah. And I'd just like to say your pal Al.
Oh, sorry. You can go back to that.
Yeah. Congratulations. We're glad to hear your channel is taking off.
Whoop, whoop.
Would you mind posting in the side chat where your what sub count is, and see if we can get you going up a little bit more. So everybody, if you haven't been to his channel yet, head on over there, help him out. Let's get him up.
Stevie B says, "I wish I had hair to donate." It's okay. I'll do it for you. But yeah, it's something that I've done since my nan passed away of cancer. 12 years ago now? So
yeah, you've mentioned before. You've mentioned it before on the show.
Yeah, but I'm getting close. I'm getting close. So when my hair is like halfway down my back, that's usually when I'll do it. Because that's a good length. That's a good
Cool.
length.
All right, your pal Al is at 254 subs. Let's see if we can get him up to 300, folks.
And Carl
Spread
just put his link in the chat. Thank you, Carl.
Thanks, Carl.
Whoop whoop.
Awesome. The the goat is afloat in a moat. Are you gonna write a song now?
Yes,
Sorry,
yes. Write a song about goats. Write a song about goats. I want to see that.
Absolutely. We want it. We want it big time.
Why is that, Dorian? I'm curious. He says he's got hair to donate, but I don't think they'd want it. And Sofa King Sleepy says survived cancer twice already, but alopecia took my hair at 20, and all I have to show for it is this goat hair wig. I don't donate goat hair. I promise. I promise. Although goat hair wouldn't be bad. Wouldn't be a bad thing. Yeah. A jazz song about goats. I want to see it. I want to see a jazz song about goats.
I agree, Eddie. I want to see that too. That'd be awesome. We need a goat theme.
Dave, no. Good guess, but no. He just sent me a picture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Wow. That's rightmost painting, lower right then. No, sorry.
Come on, people. Find the goat.
Nimrod. Found it, but I refuse to say where it is. Uh-oh. See what we can do about that. Come on. Sorry, Carl. Feels like his eyes are going to fall out of his head, he says.
Keep looking, people. Keep looking.
Keep looking. It's there. It's there. Remember the tip I gave you last week? Just look for those black dots that are the eyes and the nose. You find them, you'll find the goat.
Oof. I'm not good at this either, so it's okay, folks. It's okay. I understand your pain, but yeah. Christ.
It's actually not that hard. I mean,
you say that, but you know where the goat is.
Yeah, but
and once you know where the goat is, then it's a lot easier.
Well,
I know. I actually, yeah. I can see it. No, I can see it now properly. Yeah. But it looks as though it's part of the thing that it's part of, like that it's covering. But come on, folks.
Yes, Carl, I know I made it.
Sorry, Nimrod just showed me a picture, just sent me a video on Discord of a kitten who wants a shower. That's cute. That is gorgeous, but it's still not going to get you on next week. But thank you for the kitten. I love those.
Critical cripple.
Oh.
Can you be just a wee bit more specific?
Has he seen it? Has he seen it?
I think he may have, but let's see if he can be a bit more specific.
And if you want, you can send me a picture. You've already done that before, so, and I'll tell you because I can see it now. But I needed to actually put the thing on full screen in order to actually see it. Is the goat on the white crisscross thing, the painting left? The white crisscross thing? No.
No.
Close.
Sorry.
Very close.
Sorry, Tusk.
Very close.
Well,
And just wait. Oh, here we go. Nimrod again. What have you sent me? How about daughter and kitten? The daughter and kitten are gorgeous, but they're not. They're not the goat. Them's the rules, folks. Them's the rules.
Well,
again, close. Very close. Very close, Tusk. Dave, where's your picture? Come on. Have you seen it? Have you not? Has Dave disappeared into the ether? Not that I believe that the ether is real. I'm just ripping the piss. You're all right, guys.
Directly above the tan cushion below the rear drop shape of whiteness. Huh? No.
Flip's table, I'm not playing. Oh, Etty.
Oh, come on, Eddie. It's not that bad.
Photoshop crashed on Dave. Etty, don't flip the table. I'll give you hugs. Don't flip the table. It's okay.
Yeah, we'll give you double hugs.
Damn it, what? What did I do? What did I do?
You wouldn't take her cat pictures as a good answer.
I do. I enjoy the cat video, and I like the picture with your daughter. It's very, very cute, but it's not a goat, and this is called Spot the Goat. I'm sorry that you can't see it. Medical issues. Dave's Photoshop has crashed, apparently, allegedly. We can't tell.
Well, so far, Critical Cripple has been the closest.
Yep. Above Crafty's head in the mesh right of the lamp. Nope.
Nope, sorry.
Don't cry, Etty. Don't cry. It's okay. It's okay. Puts the table back.
We love
We
you.
love you. And Etty usually has a show today. Are you going ahead with your? Don't rage quit. Don't be rage quitting. Oh, I don't want to be hearing that.
Yeah, there is no goat. Yes,
no
there
goat.
is.
Tusk, is it right in the middle of the head-looking thing on the picture to Keela's left?
No.
Yeah, Dave has seen it. Dave has spotted it.
Okay, we've got a winner. Critical Cripple, you're on next week. And let's reveal the answer. There it is.
There she blows.
There she blows. So, you know what to do, Dave. Contact Crafty and let's get you on next week.
Now, Sable Eagle as well, at the same time as Dave sent this, level with the top of Keela's head in the painting to her left in the swirly pattern. Cunningly disguised as part of the swirly line pattern. So...
Do you want to have them both on? I'm good with it.
I think we should have them both on.
Okay, Sable Eagle, you know what to do. Contact Crafty. You'll be on with Dave.
No, I have both Sable Eagles and Dave, so I'll send you both out the
all right.
the thingy majiggy.
Nimrod.
I still can't see it.
Go on.
And OMFG, no way. I'm sorry. Yes.
Sorry. All right.
Let me
Cool.
just do this, and let me just show them again where the fucking thing
Okay.
is.
There
Look
it
at
is.
there it is. It's a big motherfucker. It's not actually that small. You can actually see it. You can properly see it if you have the thing on full screen. Just saying.
So there you go, folks. We've got Critical Cripple and Sable Eagle on with us next week. Should be a fun show. Should be a
Yeah.
fun show.
Um.
All right. So
Cool.
what else do you want to cover? Anything else you'd like to talk about?
Well, that's the problem. I've been out. You see, I've
Yeah.
been in my own little world, as in Carl Edwards still can't see it. I've been kind of out in my own little world doing like real life shit, and
Yeah.
that's just really fucking taking it out of me. I am going to have a members only stream with my patrons as well. I will be having that at some point in the next few days.
That's gonna be awesome.
Because there is something that I want to address with you guys, and get your advice on. Now I know Tusk, because I was talking to Tusk about this last night, but I do want your advice on something.
Awesome.
Because, well, I'll say it here openly. I'm thinking of closing down my Patreon. Not because of anything is wrong. It's just that I can, because of work and everything else, I haven't really been able to do things on a consistent basis apart from this fucking show, which I do every week and I love. But it's just gotten so hectic in real life that I don't know how regular I can be with stuff. So I kind of feel bad that people are paying for something that's not regular. And I can't promise that it'll be regular just because of everything that's been going on. So we're going to have a conversation about it with the patrons, with the and with the members. And you guys can advise me from there. So have a think about it, and let me know. But
All
yeah,
right.
other than that, I am still working on the Challenging Conspiracies, and it will come out at some point. I just can't tell you when. And I am working on the Ion Society video, and I just, because work has been so fucking hectic, I just haven't had it in me to finish it. So close your patrons and start an OnlyFans. No, I'm not starting a fucking OnlyFans. Fuck off. Do you know I was asked that the other day as well? Did I have an OnlyFans? No, I really don't. But I do want to have a conversation about stuff and the direction of the channel and stuff. So, if people are around later in the week, we'll have that discussion.
Yeah, as long as it's not in the middle of the night for me, I'll be there.
Yeah, it'll probably be like an hour earlier. That like 11 o'clock is my usual time, 10, 11 o'clock. So that's like an hour before you would do Pain of Progress.
Cool. I could probably manage that. Absolutely.
I would hope it's not too early, but yeah. But I do want to have a conversation with folks about what's been happening and stuff.
Cool.
I know I can pause it. But I want to talk to people about it because you guys are really keeping my channel alive. And everyone that comes and watches stuff and talks to me and puts up with me, which is awesome. But yeah, I will be having that conversation. It's a hard topic to cover, but I will be having that conversation.
I just want to say, Tusk, that sounds absolutely delicious. Could you share a recipe? I'd like to try that.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I do want to talk about before we leave. Right? I was talking to Tusk there last night, and we were discussing the green bean curry that you made. And thank you, Tusk, for making that green bean curry. It was like watching it was like yay, and I noticed that when he made the dish for you, all you said in the comments was thanks. After kind of and it just made me laugh because like you made the distinction between the pho being north or south, and people doing it differently, and it was just like thanks. A one-word answer is like, thanks. I was like, oh,
Oh,
what was up with that?
Me?
Yeah.
I thought I gave more than that in my response. Oh, maybe I was just thinking or just making a quick response.
I
If
just
that's
thought
the
it was
case,
funny.
I'm sorry.
I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Well done, Tusk. And Tusk spent ages on it. God love him. But yeah, it was just funny. The just to for the people who are looking into the thingies, words are escaping me right now. The debate things, the workshops. I can't do things every week. That's problematic for me because it really does depend on my energy levels. And working 10-hour shifts and then doing a thing, it's not always
Yeah.
possible. But
It
yeah,
takes
it does, and I do need energy. I mean, you heard me what I was like before we came on air, and then you kind of go into character and the energy. But as soon as this is over, I'll probably be back asleep, like because sometimes these do take a lot of energy, and I can barely fucking talk anymore. How is my fucking voice soothing? How? You're insane. I love you, but you're insane. Between you and Jeff, I believe that's the most soothing voices deserve at least one book a month. Well, thank you. Thank you very, very much. Because we do appreciate it.
Yeah.
But how the fuck my voice is soothing, I don't know. Especially like my voice is actually going at the moment. So God love you.
I think they're both just getting used to us and the way we sound when we speak.
It's like fucking. It'll be like nails on a chalkboard in the next 2 months. You're grand. Well, mine, not his.
Yeah, I've always felt my voice has been rather dull, to be honest. So, but anyways, let's see. Well, I don't really have much of anything happening except for the next Pain of Progress. I would like to mention, though, that because of tonight's discussion on climate change, I firmly believe that the world should be thinking about switching to nuclear energy. And this coming Friday is part 2 of nuclear energy on the Pain of Progress. So, yeah, come and check it out. And other than that, I don't really have that much in the works.
Nice. And just to remind people that there's no just fuck off, critical cripple. Feck right off. I'm not saying it. No. But yeah. Just to remind people that there's no the situation with Pain and Progress is there's no more premieres until the new season picks up. So please, if you want a 5th season, you need to go and you need to watch every fucking episode every Friday midnight for me, like so 11 p.m. UTC. Put it in your fucking diaries, dictionaries, whatever the fuck you want. I don't know. I can't. Words are just not my friend anymore. But yeah, please do go and watch it because that will set up if people aren't watching it and just assume that someone else is going to watch it, then it's never going to hit the algorithm. So we need you guys to actually go every week and watch the 15-20 minutes. It's not a huge ask, I think. Please do keep up with it. Please do support it so that season 5 and season 6 can be fucking amazing, which it'll be anyway. But we want as many people to see it by that time as possible. So exactly. 7 p.m. on the East Coast of USA. So make sure that you are absolutely subscribed, that you have that bell fucking dinged for everything that comes out. And it is really important.
Comment the hell out of it. You know, the interaction really makes a difference. Share it. Anybody
we don't mind that whole 1st, 2nd, 3rd, right up to 78th if you want to be the 78th comment. We don't care. just make sure that you're interacting with it and support it as much as you can. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, we do. We do. It takes a lot to put it together, folks. Really, honestly, it does. And I love doing it for y'all. But I do need the help to make it worthwhile and keep it going. So please consider it. And thank you.
It's now 2:00 for me. So yeah, it's time to say goodbye.
Yeah, it
Bye,
is.
people.
So that's it, guys. We're done. We're out of here.
Okay.
See you all
Sorry.
next week.
Before we wrap up, Christian, ring my bell. Tequila. Yeah. Fucking ring our bells. Ding, ding, ding,
That's
ding,
right.
ding.
Ding, 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 ding. Ring our damn
All of
bells.
them. All of them.
All of them. And that's it. We're out of here, folks. See y'all next week. Bye-bye.
Love you guys. Bye.